How's it going, guys? I know it's been a while since I've uploaded a Rusty the Sprite build episode. I've been focusing on just getting a bunch of this work done. There wasn't really a need to film it because it's very meticulous, time consuming. It would be really boring as far as time lapse goes. So I'm going to try to update you guys just through a walk around to where I'm at. And we are getting close. However, the big holdup once again is the tracks, which will probably be the last thing I do here on Rusty. So let me kind of go through what I've been working on so you can see. Well, you can kind of tell what I've been doing. I've been wiring for the last 9 days. And to say that this was something that I thought would be simple, I thought, I'll just get the wiring done in a couple days. Well, it didn't work out that way. Everything, I had to make sure everything was very meticulous, in place where it needs to go, and then have to deal with, rubbing issues as far as what I think is going to happen when we take them out. It's basically like having the Overland truck. I had to do the same thing. You got to be very careful how you run your wires, and you have to make sure you put tie wraps at certain spots, and you've got to wire loom stuff so wires don't rub through and circuits start popping. But I guess the best way to get in is back here. Let me show you guys what I've been working on here so you can kind of see. This is the whole heart of the operation. I've been just sitting back here for the last couple days making up this panel and this circuit board. So let me see if I can get some light over here so you can see better. Alright, so let me try to explain this. I've got 5 relays here, and this is the main power for some of the relays and some of the other circuits. You got batteries coming in. One of these, basically the idea that I had is I've got 2 batteries. Each one of them I put on a really low amperage circuit breaker, so in case something does grab ground, it's gonna pop right away. These are 2-aught wires, so they're rated for 200 amps. But I just want to be really careful. I've never owned a snowcat before. I don't know how much jostling around is going to happen. So anyhow, everything I use is marine grade. I created a junction here, so you've got basically one of these will be a starter battery. If you turn the snowcat off and the solar is going, it will charge the batteries, but once they're topped off, you want to turn one of these off, and then basically that will be your starter battery. So if you drain down the other battery in an emergency situation, ideally you would have another battery that's fully charged, and you just flip this on, and then boom, you can start the vehicle and drive away. Now this is not 100% complete yet. I've still got to do some more looming and tie wrapping, but it's been a while since I've uploaded anything, so I wanted to share this with you guys. This is kind of where I'm at. I basically have everything wired except for up front here where I have to do this. This is the craziest thing. I have to do this starter circuit because there's the cable shut off for the engine. And I had to figure that out. It took me, 3 or 4 hours to figure out how that circuit is supposed to work. And I think I've got it figured out. So you got to remember, I'm going from, I don't have the entire truck here, so I wasn't able to just pull the whole harness out in one piece. It kind of came out in pieces. But let me go up front here and kind of show you what's going on. So back here, you see this little box here? So this little box has a motor in it with a cable, and you can see it kind of shoots off there. and it runs all the way over here to, I think it's this one. Yeah. So this is the shutoff valve. So when you pull on this and it stops back here, it shuts off the motor. And then when you go to start the motor, it pushes it all the way forward, which allows the motor to run. So I figured that out just by using my hands, but to get this little system to work, I'm having to go through a couple steps here, okay? So the first thing I did is I had to figure out what all 5 of these wires did. So I figured out what ground was right away. That was easy. But this one actually goes to a little motor in there. And then the other 2 wires basically will stop the motor from turning at a certain point. So there's some sort of a relay inside that box, and it figures out, you know, where the run circuit ends and where the run circuit stops for the motor. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, but that's kind of how I figured this out. So the problem is that this motor, if you run 12 volts to it, it spins so fast it goes right past the stop points and keeps turning. So I had to buy a little motor controller that's supposed to be here today, so I won't be able to wire the rest of this up until tomorrow. But it's supposed to be here today, and then I should be able to get this starter circuit dialed in. Now, I did get all the gauges wired. The only thing I don't have wired on the gauges are the indicator lights. I'm thinking that's going to be a dummy light for oil pressure, and then this will be a light for normal. So there's 3 modes on the transmission. There's normal, eco, and overdrive. So in normal mode, this light will be on. In eco mode, nothing will be on, and then overdrive, that light will be on. That's how I'm planning to do it. Now, if it's gonna work, I don't know. I got the EGT probe in there, and so I've got the pyrometer. I got all the gauges ran, all the wiring is ran for them. I got the windshield wiper motors ran. I'm still waiting on parts to finish that system up. I got the washer bottle, but I don't have it wired yet. Coming into here, we've got some extra switches that I added and some extra 12 volt ports here for the passenger side. So this is basically the map light, and there's one on the other side too, and then this is just constant power. These circuits will always be on in case you want to charge something. What else can I tell you? It's coming along. I just have to focus on getting some of this stuff buttoned up. I still have to loom this up, but I want to make sure everything works correctly before I do that. I did get the rear view mirror / camera circuit working. I got all the lighting working. I've tested that. It works. I had to run temperature capillary gauges to the throttle body, or not the throttle body, thermostat housing here. I got that all dialed in. And a lot of this stuff I can't test until we start the motor up. Some of you guys were complaining about this exhaust pipe will get too hot. Well, I took that downpipe kit and I wrapped that sucker all the way back to where it comes out of the frame back here. So I got that done. What else can I update you guys with? Oh, this white powder that you see everywhere is from the inside of a 7-pair or a 7-wire trailer cable. That's what I've been using to run most of the wiring. I don't know if you, yep, you see up there's a camera. I got the camera mounted. The camera works great. So that's going to be like the rear view mirror for behind. What else? Oh, there's a temperature, rear differential temperature sensor back here. I got that wired in. I pretty much got everything ready to go except for this right here. This goes to the relay that powers that fan. for the, well, it'll be for the diesel heater to tie into that. I do have a control up on the dash there that will allow me to turn that on back here if I have passengers and they want the heat on back here. I'm gonna assume, like I said, I've never owned a snowcat before, that it's gonna get hot as hell in this cab, because look at the motor and how it's sitting there. Even if I build a doghouse and insulate it, which I plan to do with Dynamat, it's the hood liner stuff, the same stuff I used on the truck. Works great. I mean, takes the noise away instantly. Even if I insulate it with that, I bet it's gonna get hotter than hell inside this cab, because I've got 2 heaters set up, and these motors are notorious for running hot. The indirect injection diesels are notorious for running hot. But yeah, so I still got to finish up the glow plug circuit and the starter circuit. But once that's done, I can test the system, start the motor up, and make sure all the gauges and everything work. Check for more leaks. See if there's anything else that I need to tend to on the motor before I start busting out the tracks. And oh, that's going to be a whole nother that's going to be a whole nother few days where you won't see me, because it's going to take me a long time to build tracks. Let me show you. I picked up the steel that I needed to build the tracks. So I got a smoking deal on all this steel, as you can see. Now I got to build 140 grousers, and you can use your guesstimation, or you can kind of get an idea of what I'm going to do here, because this is all rectangle tube. It's just above 1/8 inch rectangle tube. Got some flat bar there. This is for the trailer project, which you'll see after I get the tracks done. This is like a never-ending project to get this whole snowcat situation under control. So yeah, I got all that. And I think that just about catches you guys up on everything that I've been up to. I did get the rest of the cab insulated. That turned out really good. That stuff is easy to work with, although if you try to stick it down and pick it back up, it will leave a big mess, a big gooey mess. And I think that's just about it. I know I've been away for a while, and I really wanted to focus on getting some work done on Rusty. And like I said, it wouldn't be anything interesting to shoot a time lapse of me sitting on a milk crate wiring a panel for hours on end. But I think that catches you guys up. And the next episode, I think, will be another startup. So I can start up the snowcat, show you how everything works, how all the systems work, and hopefully have all this cleaned up so it looks a little bit more professional in there. And maybe even have the wipers working at that point. So if you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. We're gonna have a new adventure series coming out once Rusty is done and complete. And hopefully you guys will get a chance to see Rusty in action. Fingers crossed nothing catastrophic happens when we take him out on his first drive. We're gonna do a dry run once we get them done, and then once we work out all the bugs after the dry run, then we'll take them up to some not so deep snow, and then as we get more confident with him and he turns out to be reliable or not so reliable, we'll adjust where we take him. I hope you guys are staying safe with all the crazy stuff that's going on in the world right now. To be honest with you, it's really depressing. I find that a lot of the stuff that's going on is really depressing, and it really kind of wears down on me a bit, and I wish everything would just go back to normal, as normal as it was, you know, before this whole pandemic happened. But all right, guys, that's going to be it. Take care, and I'll catch you next time. See you later. Bye-bye.